Hello, everyone, and happy Tuesday. Welcome to Speak Up Sis Talk Radio, the show where I, your host, Angel Charmaine, share my books and I invite authors, Christian authors, to share their stories through their books to inspire you to speak up and share your own story. Today, I have invited author Valerie Champion into the Speak Up Sis space to discuss expressions of the soul. Hello, Valerie. How are you?
I'm awesome, Angel. How are you?
I am doing well. Thank you so much for saying yes to this interview. I'm really excited to talk to you this evening about expressions of the soul. But before we get into that, tell us, who is Valerie Champion?
Awesome. Valerie Champion is a native of Atlanta, Georgia. I grew up on the west side of Atlanta, proud graduate of Booker T. Washington High School, Bulldogs. Yay! I am a mother of many, and I say that. I birthed two, but I have many who calls me mama. I am the proud grandmother of one. His name is Braylon. He's 5 years old, and now I reside in Douglasville, Georgia, and I am a self-published author. Of course, Expression of the Soul is my first book, and I am working on my second one. And I guess I am also a prayer warrior. I have I run a prayer line with a sister friend of mine, and it's called Prayers of the Righteous Prayer Ministry. We've been praying, interceding for about 8 years straight on behalf of God's people. It is an honor, and it is my responsibility, so I don't take it lightly.
That's what's up. So do people actually send you all prayer requests, or is it that people come onto the line and they ask, like, how does that even work with people, you praying for people? How does that work?
Yes, we get prayer requests via text, through our Facebook Messenger. Some people call in on the line and give them verbally. And then I have a form. If they want to submit it via email, they're able to submit their prayer request via email as well. So yeah, we get prayer requests, and we've had some praise reports as well. Thank you, Jesus.
Thank you, Jesus. You know what? I was listening to a brother tonight. His name is, I'm not even gonna like tear up his last name because he's from Ghana, but he's a bishop. His name is Michael, and he does a live on Facebook. And tonight he said something akin to, you can't be a Christian without results. And I was like, wow, okay. Listen, it stops you.
Yeah.
And it gives you reason to pause, right? And it's like, there should be some fruit. There should be some results. So I'm glad to hear that you get some feedback to say, hey, we got some praise reports, because if you're praying for people and interceding and no praise reports are coming, it's like, what y'all doing?
Exactly. I totally agree with him.
So that's what's up. That you saying that made me think about that. So, all right, then, that's what's up. And before we get finished with this conversation at the end, I'm going to give you an opportunity to give the people contact information for you so that they'll be able to reach out to you if they want to be a part of the prayer line, or, if there's some people who need prayer and they want you all to pray for them. I want to make sure that they get that information, because prayer is definitely needed. which is what we're going to talk about today, because prayer is an expression of the soul, right?
Right.
So I want to start by reading a piece of your introduction. And yes, everybody, I have a copy of Expressions of the Soul right here in my hand. It's a beautiful red book. And we're going to tell you how you can get your copy a little later, but we want to talk about it first. So I want to read just a little piece from your introduction because this really connected with me. You say, when I started writing, I found that it was therapeutic for my mental sanity. I would write when mad and upset or when my heart felt like praising God. I definitely picked up a pen and paper when I felt like I was getting depressed. It allowed me to write from the soul.
Yes.
That grabbed me because I often say that writing is therapeutic. It's like free therapy.
Yes. Yes, it is. And if you notice, I do have a few quotes on the back about poetry, and the last one is mine, and it says, poetry, as simply as it can be, is an emotional healing tool that allows you to freely express your soul.
Yes.
Valerie Champion.
Yes. Talk to us a little bit about how poetry has been therapeutic for you. How has it helped you keep your sanity?
Well. I'll tell you, this book came about, in 2003, I guess I would say, is when I started writing. Now, mind you, let me go back just a little. I used to write poetry, little bitty, red roses of red, violets of blue, those type of poetry,
right,
in school. So I love to write. Number one, of course, I got away from it as I became an adult. But when I moved to Douglasville in 2003, and I was going through some challenges with my youngest son, in addition to my marriage, I couldn't do anything to help me get through it until I started writing. So I started writing poetry, and the words just started to flow because I that was how I was able to express being depressed,
right,
because my marriage was dissolving, upset because my son was driving me crazy, going through his issues in school, and then the mere fact that I was about to become a single parent, again. So writing helped me keep my sanity. Prayer and writing, should I add, helped me keep my sanity.
Right. I feel you on that one. I always say that writing helps me take what's in my head and in my heart, right? Yes. And it helps to pull that stuff out of me. It makes it real. It makes it tangible. It helps me to acknowledge what the thing is. As long as it stays on the inside, it's like I don't really know what to do with it. But writing allows me to write the junk of my life out of me. If that makes sense.
Yes, because there are things that you don't want to share with others publicly, but you're able to still get it out in writing. I write my prayers down, because like I don't, in the conversation previous that you and I had, I just felt like I didn't know how to pray.
Right.
But I could write a prayer. If that makes sense to you.
Yeah.
But to say, Valerie, will you pray out loud and no, I don't want to do that. That was a time when that was me, but writing helped me express my prayers too.
Listen, so if you all haven't figured out yet, Expressions of the Soul is a book of poetry. And it is like a book of prayers. There's one, there are a few actually, and we're not going to give everything away. But there's one that I want to take a look at. And I want you to kind of maybe share with us where it came from, because I'm gonna tell you, it reminds me of like the sinner's prayer. And it starts out by saying, when the darkness of the night to me feels oh so right, I can only guess what the reason could be. It is because the Lord has turned his face from me.
Yes.
It's the beginning of Condemned Soul. And I was like, whoa, when the darkness of the night to me feels oh so right. Oh, girl, I was like, I wasn't ready for that. He turned his face from me. Hard, please share.
Oh
Tell me,
God.
where did that prayer come from?
Like, when I moved out here in Douglasville, I wasn't going to church. I wasn't following Jesus. I wasn't doing any of that. But when I moved out here, I found a church home, and you have one foot in and you have 1 foot out. And this was a point when I was separated from my husband, but yet I was dating somebody else. It just seemed like there was a dark cloud over my life, and I'm like, I don't understand why everything is like going so wrong. I guess God is not there for me anymore. He's turned his face away from me.
Right.
So it's like, it's just dark. My soul has been condemned.
Wow. That, to think about the feeling of something feeling good in the dark. It, you know his face is turned away from you when you start feeling good in your darkness. Right?
Yes. And it was feeling good, because I wasn't lonely.
Right.
I wasn't lonely because I was dating somebody else. Like I said, so, and then but it felt good. But at the same time, I knew that there was darkness because of everything that was going wrong.
Right.
Even though I felt good being with somebody and not being alone every single night. But yet, when I wake up in the morning, I really didn't like the person that I saw in the mirror. But it was like when I guess at that particular time, also I was in a position to where I didn't like myself. And that was how I ended up in a relationship basically right after I separated with my husband.
Right.
Jump from out of one relationship into another one. And it felt good because like I said, I wasn't lonely anymore. I felt like, oh, I got somebody, or somebody has me. Let me put it that way. Or somebody has me. And it felt good. But because I knew it was wrong, because at that time, like I said, I was getting into church. I was even trying to make him go to church.
That's what we do, right?
So that's where Condemned Soul and yeah.
It's a good one. It's actually one of my favorites in the book, Expressions of the Soul. So listen, right here on Speak Up Sis Talk Radio, I like to keep it real and raw and relevant, as I do on all Speak Up Sis platforms. But one thing I really like to do in this space is deal with real life issues that everyday people, deal with, but to explore them from a kingdom perspective. You know what I'm saying? And so that's real. What you're saying, being married, being separated, being lonely in the separation, connecting with someone else, and still, having to deal with the fact that you love God, right? What do you do about that? And I agree with you there. Writing helps you to actually see a thing for what it is. I also want to take a look at another one. You and I talked a little bit about it, but I want you to share with our listeners. And just in case you all haven't figured this out, you need to go grab a copy of Expressions of the Soul. It is it's a good read. It may be a quick read for some of you, but it's poetry. And so whenever I read poetry, I like to just savor
one at a time. Yeah.
One at a time. Yeah. Yeah. I don't need a big hefty no. I just need some good stuff that allows me to, chew up the meat and spit out the bones. So I want to talk a little bit about Young Eagle. Let's talk a little about, yeah. This one is an expression of hurt and pain. Right?
Yes.
So tell me, as well as the listeners, what caused this expression?
This particular poem right here is about my youngest son. I guess that was a period in his life when he was smelling himself, and he was smelling himself real bad.
He was funky, girl.
He was funky. And he did a little in disrespectful mood while his girlfriend was around. He actually said the B word to his mama.
Ooh! Them fighting words.
Ooh, fighting words. I had to come in here, get on my knees, and tell God to get him out my house because I'm finna kill him.
Oh, my goodness.
So he was gone. He left my house. His dad had to call me to let him back in. But this particular poem right here, I wrote it that night. I was that upset. I was that pissed off. I was that hurt, because I never thought that my son would disrespect me in that manner.
Right.
He had never done that before. And so it hurt me. And then for him to do it in front of his girlfriend,
right,
that hurt even worse. So that's where Young Eagle came from. And I told God, I said, I have prayed about him most of his life, and I gave him to you when he was in the 6th grade. I told you, I'm just going to feed him and go where I got to go, but he's yours. And that night, Lord, he's yours.
Right. Right. Let me tell you, this first 2 lines of this poem: I bore you through tears and pain, and as the years went by, your actions caused the same. Oh, I was like, my God, what mother has not thought this, felt this, lived this, breathed this? At some point, we all get to that place, don't we? Like, it hurt to bring you here, and the stuff you're doing is causing me the same kind of hurt. A different part of the body, but the same kind of hurt.
Yes.
It's crazy. It's crazy. I know, it makes you stop. I'm telling you, that's why for me, I don't write poetry, but I love to read poetry. And I love the fact that you said you were writing your prayers.
Yes.
I like that. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Sometimes I think people need to realize that God can read too.
Mhm. Mhm.
If you don't know what to say, writing works. I just had the previous Speak Up Sis Talk Radio guest. We talked about writing to heal.
Mm.
And you know, that's her whole thing. She has a whole um course that people can go through and all those kind of things. I think people need to understand that writing is a viable way of praying. If you can't verbalize it, if you can't get it to come out your mouth, if you grab a pen and some paper and just write, God can read too.
It takes my son, Angel, to tell you how many journals I have because he's like, how many you have? I said, look, I have to keep them around the house because it's like wherever I am, if I need to write right then, I can't be running around trying to find one. No, I
Mm-hmm.
write it right then. And a lot of them have prayers. Some of them start off with, Father, it's me again, your
Mm-hmm.
dog. It's
Yeah.
like
Yeah. Yeah. Do you ever go back through them to maybe check off answered prayers? Or do you ever kind of go back and just and read and go, oh my goodness, I can't believe I prayed for this and this has happened, or God has answered this prayer? Or do you ever do that?
yes, yes, yes. I give you an example. I actually wrote up my prayer down and I had asked for God to bring my husband back.
Mm-hmm.
And so, as time went by, a few months later, I wrote again, Lord, I don't trust him, I can't do it. And God said, I gave you what you asked for.
Mm-hmm. Ah.
You said you asked me to bring him back.
You asked for him back, I gave him back to you. Now you want me to take him again?
Yeah.
Okay.
So yes, ma'am. I do review. I love going back to see because it tells me where I was
Right.
at that particular time. And so a lot of times I pray. Sometimes I forget to date them because I just be writing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, I look back. Sometimes I can remember. Oh yeah, I remember this. Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm gonna tell you, I remember one time, I don't know what I was thinking. I was like, I'm gonna go back and read my journal from last year. And what was I doing last year this time? I do that kind of thing. What was I doing? Because I date them. What was I doing last year this time? And I went to read, and I realized that I had wrote almost the exact same thing the year prior on that day. So I was like,
Mm,
wow, this is, what a coincidence, a little
mm,
coinky. So I said, well, let me go back, So I
mm.
went back the year before that, same day. And I had written just about the same thing. I went back 3 years and I had written the same prayers, the same issues, the same. So I had just moved to different locations and was dealing with different
Mm.
people, but it was the same stuff. And through my writing, through me writing out prayers, writing out the junk of my life and my heart, God showed
Yes.
me my cycle.
Mm-hmm. Hmm.
He revealed to me that for 3 years, I had been going in a circle. I was in a vicious cycle. And I was so ashamed. And so I just could not believe that I was doing the same things with different people in totally different locations, but the same stuff. And after that, I said, I will no longer be in this cycle. And that next year, I was intentional about
Mm.
doing things differently. I was like, you know what? No, I've done this before. No, I'm not doing this again. And I'm going to tell you, that is one of the beautiful things about writing it down, writing your prayers down, writing down what's going on in your life, writing down the expressions of your soul, your heart, your being, because it allows you to see yourself.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. And in one of the poems in Expressions of the Soul, um, is a daily affirmation that I actually had to write for myself.
Mm-hmm.
I had to write that and repeat that to myself in the mirror every single day, because, like I mentioned, I didn't like myself. Um, I tried to be who other people thought I was. I didn't, um, and it stemmed from, of course, childhood things,
Right.
teenage years, but I didn't like the woman in the mirror.
Mm.
And it me to like who God created me to be. I wrote that affirmation. I
Yeah,
wrote it for
it's a good one. It's a good one. I have an affirmation in one of my journals. I used to get up and read it every day, every day, every day, every day, every day. Um, but yours is a good one. It's a good one as well. I'm not going to read it. They're just going to have to get the book
yes.
for
It's
themselves.
there's two. One of them is not called daily affirmation. It's take me as I am, and yeah, it's like, yeah, I need for you guys to read this, because there's somebody out there that is struggling with your identity, knowing who your worth is, knowing who you are. You are trying to be who somebody else. No, love your eyes, love your lips, love your nose. You know,
Yeah.
love who you are.
In my book, Speak with She, One Woman, 10 Truths, I believe it's the very first conversation in the book is called Fall in Love in the Shower.
Yep, yep, it is.
And that's what it's about. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's about.
That
Getting
was
to
funny, because when I read that, I was like, huh? I was like, well, I gotta read this one.
when you that first line will mess you up. If you know what's wild about that particular conversation, I remember a good friend of mine um, gave bought a few of my books and gave them to some women at her church. And one of the ladies came back to her and said, "Is she a lesbian?" She said, "You didn't read the whole thing." Oh goodness. I said, you know what? People just don't read no more. Uh, but yes, I totally understand getting to that place where you realize that I don't love who I see in the mirror. I don't even recognize that person in the mirror. I don't know that person in the mirror, but knowing that you need to know that person, you got to get to know that person in order to heal. You got to get to a place where you love that person,
Yes.
and I believe as I read the different pieces and expressions of my soul, that you got to that place where you are able to love the woman um, that you saw in the mirror. You're able to reconcile spirit, soul, and body by expressing, um, you know, the
Yeah.
the the issues that you had in your soul. So
Yeah.
listen, can you believe it? We are so out of time.
So fast.
It goes by so quickly. I try to tell people all the time, like these conversations, they happen really quickly. But let me tell you, I have thoroughly enjoyed having this conversation with you. I bless God for your life. I thank Him um, for giving you the idea, the thought to actually put your prayers down on paper and to put it in book form to be able to help somebody else be able to get through whatever it is they have to get through. Speak Up Sis is rooted in Revelation 12:11. For we overcome him by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony. And that's exactly what Expressions of the Soul is. It is the words of your testimony expressed through your soul through poetry in a book. I love it.
Yes. Thank you. I appreciate it. I
Welcome.
appreciate it.
You're welcome. So, how can the people connect with you outside of this platform? Do you have any social media handles or anything of that nature? I know you also have a blog. So please let everyone know how they can connect with you.
Awesome. I am on Facebook under Valerie Champion. You might even find me. I am Valerie Champion. I believe Facebook has I am Valerie Champion.
Okay.
Instagram also I am Valerie Champion. I am also on LinkedIn under Valerie Champion. I'm trying to stay close to my name as possible.
Good.
And yes, please be able to check out my blog. It's called Your Spiritual Tea, and it's a post every Monday morning to start your week off, to encourage you, to motivate, to inspire you with the word of God. And sometimes I might post during the week, but for the most part, there's a new post every Monday. And you can reach me via email at iam.valeriechampion@gmail.com.
Valerie, thank you, sis, for joining me today and sharing the expressions of your soul with me and the Speak Up Sis Talk Radio family. I appreciate you. All right, everyone, we're done for the day. I thank you for your time and your ear and for tuning in to Speak Up Sis Talk Radio, where authors have a chance to share their stories to inspire yours. Visit me online at speakupsis.com and follow me on Facebook at Speak Up Sis Talk Radio and Instagram at speak.up.sis. Until next time, have a beautiful day and be blessed. Bye.